tonight, the Melbourne West Coast Eagles supporters. Well, what a strange week it's been in football. No one's been sacked. It's unbelievable this week, I suppose, unless you can maybe former rugby league coaches. But moving right along, last week, Melbourne supporters or Melbourne football fans were bemoaning the fact that for the first time in AFL history, 4 interstate clubs got up in the 1 week. This week, of course, well, they've all been beaten, so it's been a strange week. The Tigers back in town with their big win over St Kilda. Bad news for the Tigers tonight, however, their defender Paul Bullis has been rubbed out by the tribunal for the next 2 matches. Time now to introduce a couple of Tiger fans in the audience tonight, but time now to introduce our panel for tonight. Allen Jackovich from Melbourne, Doug Hawkins from Footscray, and Jason Dunstall from the Hawthorn Football Club. As I already mentioned, in the cage tonight, the Melbourne chapter of the West Coast Eagles fan club. They're going mad up the back already. And Sam Newman, I suppose this is a taste of things to come.
That lot over there.
That lot over there. We've got the big State of Origin match coming up this week.
The State of Origin, and it's M Day -5 and counting. Eddie?
M Day.
Yes, Moron Day. We're going over the State of Origin game next week, and we'll be checking our brains in at the bus terminal just so we'll assimilate amongst the public without any trouble at all. So it'll be very interesting. We go over there. Look at that. That could be the set of Deliverance over there. Frightening, isn't it?
Sammy, have you got insurance when you go over there?
Well, you'll be coming with me, won't you?
No,
you won't.
I'm not going anywhere near
Big,
you.
strong, tough lad like yourself won't be coming.
Well, look, we'll be talking a little bit later about the State of Origin match, but of course, time as usual to go across to the bar and Trevor Marmalade. Trev, how are you? Trev. What are you doing?
I've actually been ousted from my usual position behind the bar because my guest this week is Pat Cooley, otherwise known as Phil from Murphy Brown. And Phil, very nice to have you in Australia.
Well, thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Yeah.
Glad to see you. You know, you got to stop drinking so much, you know. You keep hanging out here and you get to stutter like this, you see, with after.
Well, I actually gave up drinking once. I found I was naturally clumsy and obnoxious. Bit of a problem. And now Murphy Brown, Pat, it's had a sort of tenuous relationship with the presidential staff over the years, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah, we like presidents. We like presidents so much we like to get them out of office every 2 years instead of every 4 years. But we tried to do with Dan Quayle, but it didn't work, you know. The guy couldn't spell election, unfortunately.
And what's the story with President Nixon? I mean, 1 minute he's a national disgrace, next minute he's a lovable rogue.
Isn't that great? We're sanctifying and crook. but we do that in America.
Well, you've had some doozies. I remember, was it Gerald Ford once said that solar energy is not something that can come in overnight? It was one of my favourite.
Yeah. You seen one for you, seen them all?
Now, you're going to a football match this weekend?
Yeah, we're going to the one over at the MCG, and we're going to see North Melbourne, I think it is. And
Great choice.
And I got to say, you know, you Hawthorn guys, the Big Dipper was my wife's great amour. She loved him. She was the first one. She was also. She introduced us to Australian Rules football at about 2 o'clock in the morning, about 12 years ago. This game came on, and I was in the bedroom reading, and all of a sudden I hear my wife say, "Get it!" And I said, "What are you talking about?" And I go on and see this strange game going on
Do you know the rules?
And no, I don't think the refs do either, do they?
It's a good point you make.
I know, gee, you climb up on somebody, I thought that was a foul. They say, no, that was just a good mark.
Well, Pat, thanks very much for dropping in. I hope you can stick around with us.
Oh, wait. Holy smoke, I thought I saw Miles Silverberg go by.
We have our own Miles Silverberg.
Miles, come over here, will you? Come over here, Miles. Can you imagine this with glasses? Look at this. I tell you, you're a great actor. I just want you to know that. But you owe a bar tip tap here, $46.20.
Pay up for the show.
You know, it was all for Cokes, too, I want to tell you that.
All right, Pat, well, hang around with us, and tomorrow, back to you, eh?
we're doing well to get any money out of our producer, Harvey Silver, over there, that's for sure. Well, a big weekend of football coming up. Collingwood versus Melbourne, of course, the match of the day on Saturday out at Waverley Park. It should be an absolute beauty. Collingwood, of course, some say unlucky, some say not quite up to it against Essendon last week. Melbourne undefeated on top of the ladder.